Hey everybody, my name's Chuck and today we're going to be exploring the east end of Degray Lake. I haven't really done a whole lot of research, but one of the things I've noticed about Arkansas is it seems like almost every lake I've been to personally is a man-made lake. I might have to look up and see if I can find a natural lake to go to at some point. But even the fact that it's man-made, it doesn't detract from the fact that it's beautiful. Especially on a sunny day, you get to see across the lake, you get to see the light glinting off of it. If there's a little bit of a breeze, you get to see the waves. There's tons of islands. Like, you really can't complain about this place. It's beautiful. Here's a little better view of the golf course. If you want to come and play golf, I don't know much about it, but it looks like a fun course, I guess. I don't know. Obviously, I've talked about playing disc golf. If you never have, man, it's a great hobby to try to pursue with the family or whatever. You really should give it a go. Plus, it's super cheap. I might record a little bit of disc golf here today. I'm not sure. It would be my luck that I would probably try to record something and I would immediately throw into a tree, which, you know, that's golf. And just to prove that I can, I gotta try to make a putt on one of these drives. Otherwise, what's the point, man? If you can't make the putt, you know, it don't really matter. In there, woo! You know, even though I've been to this park several times, there's a lot of stuff that I haven't seen here. I haven't bothered to go in any of the campgrounds. There's a swimming area on the other side of the levee I haven't bothered to go to. So today is going to be a learning experience, not just for me, but for everybody in the video. If you've never been to this area, it's absolutely gorgeous. And it's totally worth taking a day to come down and see the park, see the rec area if you feel like you want to go swimming, although this is not the time of year for that. You can go down the Green Heron Trail. If you've got money, you can go golfing. And then maybe go grab some food down in Caddo Gap or Valley. I want to say it's Caddo Valley. Caddo Gap's the one over there by Glenwood. And they've got some good food in Caddo Valley too. They've got a barbecue place called Fat Boys, which is just, oh, great. They've got the Flying Burger, if you're a big fan of fish and burgers, so it's a good spot to be. There's a little map of the trail. Some of it looks like it intersects the disc golf course, but some of it also looks like it's just separate completely from the disc golf course. So that up there will be the tee pad for hole 8. It's a real shorty. And then this is the path that I often cross over when going to play disc golf. And I guess it's time to walk over here and see what we got. They've got reflectors on the trees, that way you know you're staying on the path, but it's pretty obvious where the path is out here. If you were walking out in the middle of these woods, it's pretty mucky. You would notice pretty quick that you were sinking up to your knees in mud, but I appreciate that they're trying to keep people on track. And here we have a bridge. It feels relatively sturdy. I don't know if you can see off in the distance, but I'm pretty sure there are some birdhouses out there. You see this nice serene running water that goes over to the other side. Up here we have another closer view of one of the sort of like birdhouses slash bird boxes they have out. For again, I couldn't tell you what kind of bird, but it's cool to see that they're trying to foster at least some sort of habitat for bird watchers. That's half the fun of a state park, is getting to see some wildlife in it. Ooh, and then there's a really good view of the bay. I've had the fortune of going to various parks. I haven't been to as many as I'd like to. My uncle has been to like every state park in Arkansas, and I think he's almost been to every national park. It blows my mind, but I would love to have that opportunity in my lifetime. Try to get out and see as many parks as possible. Any parks, any land that lets you interface with nature in a reasonable way, oh, it's more valuable than gold, in my opinion. Just passed a gentleman that had a telescopic lens on his camera, and I kind of wish I had something like that. You know, a lot of people love to hunt around here, and I have nothing wrong with it, or, you know, no qualms with it or whatever. But if I were really like interested in getting out in the woods and trying to like mess with animals and stuff, I think the way I'd go is photography. I love the idea of getting to see some of these animals that are just rarely seen. You know, we've got mountain lions in Arkansas now. I'd love to take a picture of a mountain lion. Obviously we've got deer. I think up north we might have mule deer, but anything you can think of, beavers, skunks, porcupines, it'd all be fun to photograph at some point, especially since we're around the lake, like herons and you know, geese and ducks and eagles and hawks. It's really cool. This trail has been relatively rugged, but it hasn't been to the point where I couldn't walk through it. It's not muddy. They've got these bird houses set up to where you can open them from the side. They must have to clean them out after whatever bird nests in them. You get a little bit of a trail that leads us down to the water as well. Honestly, nothing smells quite like lake water. And it's even the same with ocean water, I'm sure, although I haven't had the chance to smell it. Nothing smells quite like it. In my lifetime, I've had the fortune of seeing a couple of Great Lakes, but I've never seen the ocean. It's something I'd really like to do in the future. So stay tuned. Maybe that's something I'll be able to present to the channel. You can definitely tell it's fall in Arkansas at this point. All the foliage that was pretty is pretty much falling off the trees. I really can't complain this year though. We had a fairly lengthy foliage season. You know, where the foliage was colorful, yellows and reds and oranges, and in certain areas you can still see that stuff in Arkansas, but for the most part it's gone now. Yeah, that'll be nice. Doesn't look rickety at all.
Perfect. Do a lot of that jumping around like that.
This thing may have seen better days, but I'm going to try to get up in it and see what I can see. Well, I mean, it's only slightly rickety. Well, look at that view though. Man, that's pretty. It's not bad, but it's definitely a little sketchy. I'm taking my time making sure I don't break the boards. You can tell when the water's high that it comes up through here. When the trees are this spindly and they don't have any limbs really low on the trees, the water washes up in here. As a matter of fact, you can tell where it's knocked down trees off in the distance, and it's really boggy over there. They also do controlled burns in here to try to manage the fallen limbs, fallen trees, fallen logs, all the leaves and the pine needles, and it just does a lot of good. These trees right here are really good examples where they've got char marks where they've done controlled burns in the area, which are necessary to manage this resource that we have here. Even having been burned in, I don't know, maybe the past 7 or 8 years, 10 years, there's just an infinite amount of pine straw and leaves on the ground. But it's important to do this kind of management. It prevents wildfires. It prevents problems during flooding with debris coming through and knocking stuff down. We need to be very careful about how we manage our resources. If we don't do that, the health of the forest will always be in question. Looks like this right here is where a beaver was. Wouldn't think beavers would be all the way up in the lake, but maybe there was one around here at some point. You can see another tree over there that's been notched out a little bit. That's crazy. I haven't ever seen a beaver in real life. I kind of want to see one now. So the question here is left or right? Left goes through the woods and right just kind of goes up there. Left it is. Ooh, got a little bit of a thicket here, but fortunately we've got a path through it. I'll just about always choose the more scenic path, even if it's a little bit rougher, but this isn't really rough anyways. Yeah, it looks like we've just made the loop and now we're going along the same trail, so we'll find ourselves eventually back to the trailhead and then the visitor center. Tell you what, those are some mighty mushrooms. I can't tell, is that chicken of the forest? People have to let me know in the comments. Ooh, there's some birds in there. What kind of birds do you? I think it's just little sparrows or something like that. I hear them fiddling around. Here we are, we're back at the bridge. Woo! All right, I'm back at the car. Maybe it's time to go over to the rec area. Here we are at what I'm assuming is DeRoche Ridge. It's a pretty cool little spot. I didn't realize this was all back here. We've got a little bit of a walkway that's kind of like wooden and tiered that goes up, I'm assuming, to the campsites. And then we can go down here further and there's some bathrooms and there's a boat ramp and some picnic tables. It'll be a nice little spot to visit for the day. Look like relatively new bathrooms too. Yeah, sure enough, there's a swimming area too. Let's go take a look. Again, I know this isn't exactly the time of year to swim, but I always kind of forget that towards the end of summer and in the fall they start letting the water down. Same thing here, man. The water's super low. Like the swimming area almost is completely dry, and it's a gorgeous view. Like we're right out on the ridge and you can see the levee off in the distance. It's really cool. I've never really been one of those metal detector kind of guys, but I would imagine you could probably find a few cool or interesting things down here. Maybe you could find some jewelry. More than likely you're gonna find bottle caps, but everybody's gotta have a hobby, right? I used to have a metal detector when I was younger. I don't even know what happened to it. Like, I think my grandma or my dad got it for me. I can't remember. And basically it was like I would go to my grandma's, I'd use it in the yard or whatever, dig something up, and they'd be like, well, that's plumbing. Probably shouldn't dig up the plumbing. I don't know, maybe a can or something like that. It was never anything really interesting. Maybe I could get one now and go like around like old ruined buildings or old house places, beaches. Might be able to find something interesting, I don't know. Although it's not like you're gonna find the cool stuff like you would in Europe, like old Roman coins or stuff like that. It's really nice down here though. This is like a really pleasant spot they have figured out. It's kind of crazy that I've never been though. There's a ton of camping spots. Obviously over here is a boat ramp. We'll walk to that. I said camping spots, I meant picnic spots. Sometimes we misspeak. What are you gonna do? It's kind of epic walking up over this hill though, because the sun is kind of obscured behind the clouds and you have this really beautiful view across the lake. It's pretty nostalgic, I'm not gonna lie. I can think of 20 different occasions where we went down to Amity Landing, which is again on the same lake, but just at the other end. And we get all the family out there and we'd have a good time swimming. They'd grill hamburgers. They'd have a big watermelon for us to eat afterwards, and we'd have chips. And they'd try to get some horseshoe pits figured out. Definitely brings back memories for sure. Here's the boat ramp. Obviously the water is pretty far down. You can go way further down on the boat ramp. I'm gonna get on one of these docks and just take a look up the lake. Over there are the campgrounds. You can see they've got some RVs and campers over there. That's just straight looking off into the lake. You can see there are some islands in it. That is the back side of the dam over there. And over there is the levee. This stuff is way off in the distance. You probably can't see it worth a damn, but maybe there'll be a little bit of a restroom break and I'll keep going to go to the actual rec area that I was talking about. I've never been down here before, so I didn't quite realize they had a little bit of a swimming area and then a boat dock. It's pretty cool though. I have no idea what this is about, but I'm just gonna go life station vest loaner place, life vest thing. I word real good. All right, here we are going back to another area. I get to enjoy the comic relief that is somebody trying to chase down their dog currently. And he opens the window and yells at me, "He's held cats." I'll see if I can get some footage of him. That's funny. Oh, maybe that. I don't know if you can see off in the distance. That dude's running around chasing his dog. Oh my goodness. Oh, I think he got him. Whoa. Oh my goodness. he's like almost on the ground with him. Oh, that's freaking hilarious. He may not have got him. Dude, this dude, his dog is elusive. Anyways. You have to assume that not much has been changed about this place since, you know, the 70s whenever it was built. I have to assume it was built like 74, 75. Because it's got the same old style concrete picnic tables. And those old metal grills, the adjustable racks on the side. Those right there, I've seen them at every park ever. These old style picnic tables. That right there is Nostalgia 101. All right, let's drive up to the point. Ooh, I see some things up here. Hopefully we can get a good view of them. I see a heron and what is possibly a group of ducks on the water. So let's walk along this point and see if we can't get a good video of them. It's a little bit blurry because of the pixelation in my phone, but there's a heron sitting there. But I wanted to get it with my phone just in case when I walked up with the GoPro if it ran away. I'd taken a video earlier with my cell phone of that heron out there, but if we get really lucky, we can get a fairly close picture of it with the GoPro. That's why I really want that telescopic lens. I love shooting wildlife, and It's just difficult sometimes because they don't want to be shot, especially from close up. Oh, I see it moving. It sees me and it's a little suspicious perhaps. There's really like a fairly persistent wind coming off the lake today. There's this little island that may not necessarily be accessible, or rather a peninsula that may be an island that's not super accessible unless the water's down. All right, we're gonna creep up on this heron if we can. See if I can't get a really good picture of it. Maybe it's an emerald herring, that would be cool. Never, or green heron, whatever they called it over there. Yep. How close are you gonna let me get, heron? You gonna let me get close enough to get a good video of you with my GoPro? Nope, and there she goes. She is tired of my shit. He, she, it. These trees look like they're white oaks or water oaks maybe. But then they've got a fence around one of these trees, and it makes me wonder why that's the case. It looks like it might be a cypress. Yeah, this looks like a cypress tree almost. It's kind of weird that they want to protect it so well. Sure enough, it's got a fence all the way around it. It kind of makes me wonder if it's not historically significant in some way. Like perhaps someone tried to plant it. I don't see a plaque or anything like that though, so I have no idea. That crane is still over there just kind of casually strolling in the water at the end of the peninsula, but I don't think I'm going to get close enough to get a really good video of it with the GoPro. Maybe I can get close enough to get a little bit of a view of that flock of ducks though. Oh, there he goes again. This time I think it's done with the peninsula. I think it's flying off into the sky. Boy, he can get though. It's like scooting. It's got to be like 30 miles an hour, 20, I don't know, 20, I don't know. Not a good judge of the speed. But we can see if we can get closer to these ducks. Are those ducks? I can't tell. I mean, they're birds. I just don't know how to tell what kind of birds they are from this distance. I need glasses. Help, glasses. Oh my goodness. They thought they could get away from me, but I managed to film them anyways. Except it's just a different group of them. They're like little mini Loch Ness monsters or something. It's kind of weird. The last two spots I'd like to see are the big earthen dam and then the smaller dam that they have at Lower Degray. So let's go take a look at those. Maybe we'll have enough light to just figure both of them out. So off in the distance over there would be the marina. You can barely see it with my GoPro. And then that over there is the tower where water is taken in to do hydroelectric generation. And then as we walk up here, they've got some tables and stuff going on. Throw these limbs off this table. Doesn't look like it's being super well maintained, but that's beside the point. And here is Lake Degray Dam. I don't know if this dam has a different name than Degray Lake, actually. Not like the other ones in the area, you know, in Hot Spring. Down there is the power generation. I don't really know how to get down there. Might be a road across the dam, I'm not entirely sure. I'm probably gonna drive across just to see really quick. But as with all dams, it's massive. Looks like it's mostly a rock-filled dam, like an earth-filled dam. But this is a heck of a view. One of the things about being on high up places like this is it gives me just the worst sense of vertigo, maybe? Is that the word I'm looking for? Like my mind can't quite comprehend how far away things are. So it ends up just like messing with my eyes, my brain. It makes me just ever so slightly dizzy to look at this. It's just too big. Like my human brain is not meant to comprehend things like this. Well, at least my brain isn't. Maybe somebody else is like, yeah, this makes perfect sense to me. No, you can't comprehend how big the rocks are on the side of this hill or whatever because your brain's not designed to do that kind of stuff. Obviously this right here would be the entrance. I guess the visitor center is temporarily closed, which explains why things are not being swept. I've noticed that this dam and all the other dams in Hot Springs, and I'm assuming all in Arkansas, are managed by the Vicksburg district. I don't really know much about how the Army Corps of Engineers is divided, but I'm assuming that there's some specialists that are really good at doing dams in that area. Oh, this is interesting. I'm really curious as to what this is. Let's go take a look here. I never knew the chimney swift was a thing. You would think if there was a type of swift that needed chimneys, that it would have existed before chimneys and it would survive after. But apparently awareness for chimney swifts is a thing. It's cool though. I mean, I love to see conservation efforts. I would hope that they could find a world that they could exist without chimneys though. All right, back to the car. I maybe have, I don't know, 30 or 40 minutes of daylight. I'm gonna try to go to the last dam that is down here, kind of closer to the lower Degray wreck area. This has been a great productive day. I'm glad that I finally managed to force myself up. Got myself back into filming. It feels really refreshing to get to do so. Sometimes you just need a break from things. And I was definitely feeling the pressure because I was taking almost every free moment I had between the weekends and some of the week to get these videos made. And now that I'm getting to do it and I don't feel like I'm super pressed for time, it's nice. Last but not least, we find ourselves at the lower Degray area at what is almost like a spillway, an additional dam. I'm not entirely sure what you'd classify it as. It's not a hydroelectric dam, so that's nothing like that, I guess. But it is the place where the Cattle River returns to being the Cattle River as it feeds Lake Degray and then gets shot out the other side. Also, a disc golf course here, which is really fun to play. It's way more open than some of the other ones, and you can really throw some bomber shots. But I've spent many a day here playing disc golf and enjoying the scenic view of the Caddo River, and come down here and you could have a picnic. You could do all sorts of fun stuff, I guess. Take a look at the dam itself, or whatever it is. I don't know, dam, kind of a levee that gets leaked over, I don't know. Here it is. One thing about this part of the lake is that it does have that super lakey smell. You can smell it all the time, and it must be because water from the bottom of the lake is being kind of churned out into the Caddo River. There's always a weird wind coming off of it too, so when you're playing disc golf you got to account for that. Otherwise you'll throw a disc and it'll just, you know, veer off into nowhere. Like, it's amazing how much the wind affects playing disc golf. I've never thrown in the water because there's not enough holes that are close to the water, at least not into the Caddo itself, but I've seen it happen. It's quite easy to do.
And it's blind too, you know, once you let it go, you don't know what it's going to do. You can't see what it's doing.
This looks fantastic.
That looks great. It needs to sit though,
gosh.
not again.
Oh my gosh, I almost hit the fisherman.
But here it is behind me. Our last stop. I want to thank everybody for coming to my channel and watching this video. As always, if you like this video, feel free to give me a like. Talk to me about the video if I said anything that was wrong, just flat out wrong. If you have any answers to the questions I posed in the video, I'd really appreciate it. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel.